session where Accra Heart of Oak will be taking on Accra Lions in the Greater Accra Regional Derby, and it promises to be a mouth-watering and also a compelling fixture over here. The weather is very, very calm. As you can see, we had some showers in the morning, which means that the temperatures will be very, very low and also very, very favorable for football this afternoon. It promises to be a pulsating one because both teams will be going at 8 and both teams will be prioritizing picking the 3 points over here. For Accra Lions, they've never won against Heart of Oak in any competitive fixture, but then for Accra Heart of Oak, they've always got the better of their rivals. But then in terms of points difference, it's 5 points separating these two teams who find themselves within close proximity in the capital city. I've been joined here by my pundit, Nanedu, who is going to help me talk about this game. He is going to share his analysis and what he expects from both teams going into this one. But then also we've lined up other interviews. We'll be speaking to both coaches and then also the PRO of Accra Heart of Oak to also take his thoughts. And then, in general, the second round. Has it been favorable for Accra Heart of Oak? We'll get to hear from him. But then let me welcome Nanedu to the show. Nanedu, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Josiah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, I think the weather is okay. You look at the weather, it's very calm. But then, what should we be expecting? Accra Heart of Oak, they are not playing so well. You look at Accra Lions, they've picked up the most points per game in the second round. What should we be expecting from this game?
You know, the weather is conducive for association football. A lot of people are expecting great football in today's game. This involves the, Accra New Derby, Accra Lions, and of course, Heart of Oak. Heart of Oak are not in the good run of form, and people are expecting them to have a good result today at Accra Sports Stadium against Accra Lions. When you look at Accra Lions team this particular season, they're having a good form this particular season. Shokan and the Lions are doing a great job this particular season in the Ghana Premier League. So Heart of Oak will have to fight hard, a lot of energy, efficiency in midfield to make sure they stop this Accra Lions team today. Where the competition will come from is truly through the middle, and that is where Heart of Oak have to pack the men to control the wing play of the Accra Lions team today's game at Accra Stadium. But
do you think history will be favouring Accra Heart of Oak, or history would just smile for the first time on Accra Lions?
It should favour Accra Heart of Oak because they need the points much more than Accra Lions. Looking at the points built up on the league log, Accra Heart of Oak need this maximum 3 points to make sure they propel themselves well on the league table. So they need the maximum 3 points today, much more than Accra Lions. But who knows, when these young guys are hungry for success, they would like to make amends in today's game. But personally, I think Heart of Oak should get the maximum 3 points in today's game.
Okay, now I'll get back to you in a bit. But then kickoff is beckoning in the next or less than 30 minutes. We'll be kicking off here at the Accra Sports Stadium.
It's there, so definitely I'm sure that the boys will, leap up their expectation.
A win for Lions?
Sure, I hope that it's not going to be easy, but definitely a win for us will be good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So that Nanedu is back here with me. Nanedu,
yeah.
Heart of Oak. Once you mentioned Heart of Oak this season, it's goalkeeping problems. How do you think that could impact this game today?
I think it's a major problem for Heart of Oak. I always talk about this in the studios. Ghana, we don't have goalkeeping problem. But sometimes our handlers are the reason why it makes it look like we have goalkeeping problem in our various teams and our national teams. When you look at the local league that we are playing here, we have a lot of great goalkeepers. Oben Sacha Gregory, Benjamin Asari, Kofi Mensah, Freddie Kasari. They are all doing great for their respective clubs. Going into the season, I know one area Heart of Oak didn't lack was the goalkeeping departments. As to how they would choose their number one goalkeeper, that is where the difficulty was coming from. Eric Oforentry is one of the best goalkeepers we've seen in the last 10 years. Passed through the rounds. 2013, he was in under 20 team that went to the semi-final stage of the World Cup in Turkey. He was part of that team. Richard Atta was one of the local goalkeepers who went to the last 2 editions of the AFCON. So he has
over that goalkeeping issues.
And there have been more than 5 games in the Premier League so far that is because of the goalkeeping error that caused Heart of Oak for picking the maximum 3 points, especially the last weekend game and the game in Kumasi against Nations FC at the Dr. Tamil Sports Complex. It's the reason why Heart of Oak didn't pick the maximum 3 points in those games. So going forward, that is area that I think Heart of Oak need to take keen interest in those areas to get a quality goalkeeper who could be the safest fair of hand for Heart of Oak in the course of next season. So it's one area they would like to tackle next season. But for now, I think they have experienced goalkeepers and they need to speak to them. The goalkeepers trainer had a lot of work to do on these goalkeepers to bring the best out of them in the last 6 games left in the Ghana Premier League. So, yeah.
All right, so let's also talk about Accra Lions. They were in Kumasi a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. And they stand Kumasi Asante Kotoko. And that was where it looks like Kotoko wouldn't just pick anything up and they started losing game after game. What's so special about this team? In the first round, they were struggling. Now, it looks like they are playing some superb football.
So that is the strength of the Premier League. This Accra Lions team has got the special taste to play against the big guys. So look at, for the first time in the history of Accra Lions team, they've won the maximum 3 points against Asante Kotoko by scoring 3 goals in Kumasi. So it tells you in the second round, goal scoring has been the key thing that is working for the Accra Lions team, that is working for them in the second round. So I'm sure that is one thing. If House of Folk want to pick the maximum 3 points, they need to score beyond 1 goal today to get the maximum 3 points.
All right, so Nanedu is saying that goal scoring has been very, very key for Accra Lions in the second round because they are scoring so many goals and they are playing some good football. But then for Accra Hearts of Oak, it's their goalkeeping woes that keeps on, repeating itself. It's hovering around and it's not changing for them. So goalkeeping issues, goal scoring has been, their weapon. So how does it go? But then let me also announce to you that I've been joined here by a very, very great personality. And in fact, it's a special interview. And again, Nanedu, let me pick your final thoughts. The game is about to kick off before we join commentary. What are you expecting from this game? It's a derby.
I'm expecting a good football. When you look at the weather, I think it's conducive for association football. Players would like to exhibit what is in them when they get a weather like this. So right from their defense to the attack, they would like to exhibit good football. One thing House of Folk need to be careful about is the wing play of Accra Lions. Any pass from Shokan in the midfield can spread their defense, especially their wing back, where in recent times, Dennis Kosa and the likes of Amankwa if Michael and Pedu operate from. That is where Accra Lions would like to operate from. Accra Lions central defense need to be careful about the striking department of House of Folk. They have a player in their midst who has scored a lot of goals this particular season. They are happy to welcome some key players into their team and it will work for them in today's game.
But for now, I think
I spoke to Oparade off air. They are really interested in the maximum 3 points because they feel like the last few home games that they have in the Ghana Premier League, they should do everything possible to get every 3 points at home. Their next game is against one of the informed teams so far in the Premier League and one of the top scorers in the Ghana Premier League so far. Brekum Chelsea and Stephen Amankona in their side. House of Folks will be able to get the maximum 3 points today before they travel to Brekum on Saturday because that game is going to be a difficult game. So I'm hoping they will get the maximum 3 points today. It's not going to be an easy game, but it will be a match of goals. They are likely to score from both sides. Both Accra Lions and House of Folk will score. But House of Folk is likely to pick the maximum 3 points today at Accra Sports Stadium.
Okay, so both teams leaving the tunnel. You can see the bench warmers or the players who will be on the bench gradually trooping in, and it means that kickoff is upon us. But then, as a concluding fixture of match week 28 in the Ghana Premier League, the only league that matters and the center of attraction here is the Accra Sports Stadium, where Accra Hearts of Oak are playing home to Accra Lions. It's an Accra derby. The mighty oak tree, the resilience of the mighty oak tree will be tested. But then also, maybe Accra Lions would want the lion roar to be heard this afternoon here. Kickoff, it's in some minutes time, so we just go straight to the commentary position where Nana Dakwa will be our commentator for this afternoon's game between Accra Hearts of Oak and Accra Lions.
Can't have one baby.